and welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to talk about my wind turbine or wind generator or windmill, whatever you want to call it, I guess, and how it works. So, you go from the wind generator down to a device called a voltage reduction device, VRD. Then it goes over to the charge controller. Now, the charge controller accepts power in 16 different steps, right? So I identify the voltage. The voltage directly comes from the RPMs of the wind turbine, whatever. So then, when it hits those volts, then I ask for it to give me X number of amps, right? 16 different equations. So the first equation, well, here they are right here. The first one is the top one. That's the one I was given by, those might be reversed. Yeah. Those ones were given to me by the guy tech support at Midnight Charge Controllers. I couldn't find it anywhere, right? So, during the conversation with this guy, he was talking about when it initially kicked in, which on this one it initially kicked in at 16 and 0 amps. But then here at 24 volts and 4 amps, he said, well, if it stalls out, move this down to like 1 or 2. So that's literally like the clue that I got to try to understand how the whole thing works, right? So basically, you're given your, it is backwards and upside down probably. You're given your voltage by the RPMs, right? So then you decide how many amps you're going to ask for, which makes more resistance on the motor, okay? On the generator or whatever. Sorry, not a motor. So I was still getting the feeling like it was spinning kind of out of control, maybe spinning too fast, right? All the time, like just too much, like it should be. So I wanted to kind of slow it down. So I had my parameters, right? Which my parameters were 0, 16, and actually those aren't my parameters. These are my 96. 96 amps is the highest it can be, right? So 0 to 96. So in the first one, it just goes up by 4, and this one goes up by 8 all the way, right? To this and this, right? Well, at 140 volts, it's only making 66 amps. And I don't think the thing would ever spin that fast. I don't know if it'll ever spin fast enough to give it 96 volts. But if it does, I'll be asking for 96 amps at the same time. And actually, my last 4 steps of my own design or actually, is it 5 steps? Or my last 5 steps are the same voltage and amperage, identical, okay? And my jumps start sooner. So this is my own curve that I wrote based on just thinking about what the heck that thing's doing up there, you know, and I mean, it would get spinning so fast that it'd just be like it spun before it was plugged in, which nobody told me you weren't supposed to put it up there before it was plugged in. Yeesh, yeah. Anyway, but I got to see what it would do, just free spinning, right? And just free spinning, boy, it would get crazy, just shaking and rattling and all that. Well, it was actually doing the same thing. Now, I haven't seen it under crazy high winds, but it was doing the same, like, shaking thing quite commonly. Not even really, really high winds. So I'm like, I wonder if I just ask for more amps at a lower voltage, I wonder if that'll do it. And it did. It's running so much better now. Today we had some decent gusts, but basically it wasn't getting to that mode where it was just shaking. And it just felt like, it just seemed like it was just like more solid, you know, like there was resistance and the blade was like working, right? So hopefully this is just it. I'm not going to have to fiddle with it anymore. Hopefully I just nailed it. And basically, if you don't nail it, it'll stall, right? So it'll just, you know, it'll just stop spinning. You know, you've asked for too many amps at a too low a voltage, right? So, I mean, this one that they gave me, that first one, the top one, I'm guessing that might have been for like these little crappy 3 bladers that are all around here. That's what might be what those do, right? But this one that I wrote, it's gravy, working so good. So, and it's good. It took me like just to wrap my mind around like what you know, what is a wind curve, you know? And so just thinking about it and looking at it, and I also, the thing is bent a foot on the mounting bracket. The wind blew so hard it bent something up there. So now it's a little bit, and so I'm gonna have to fix that now. Which I'm just gonna put 3 guy wires up there, and that'll probably be more than enough to hold it just perfect. And it'll stop it from clanging around too. The inner pole clangs on the outer pole, clang, clang, clang sometimes, and it's just like super annoying, especially in the middle of the night. It's up there clanging, you know. So, a little more work on it, but I think I got the curves right, and now I'm getting power out of it. See when the wind's blowing, which currently it's not. It was blowing earlier, so, yep. Yeah, so there's a quick video about wind curves. Peace.